Oh.
There he is. Okay, it's all right. 30 seconds. December 15th. This is our agenda meeting for the Wednesday, December 20th, final meeting of the year.
Last meeting of 20.
Okay, so with that, I'll turn it over to the manager. Good morning, everybody.
Nicole, what do we got for county business?
Good morning, everyone. We will be starting our Christmas tree recycling program on December 22nd, and that will go through January 22nd of 24. I will definitely mention the holiday closures, December 25th and January 1st. And as always, 911 services will be available via phone or text. And then I wanted to give a quick reminder that the mental health hospital best fit survey. So if the community would like to give input on the different locations that were announced this week, you can do that online through today. And that survey can be found on our website and our social media channels. And that's all I have.
All right, thanks, Nicole. Okay, commissioners on appointments, there's 4 total. We have 1 appointment for animal care advisory board position from Commissioner Lopez, and then we have 3 solid waste management committee appointments to be made. Under new business, item E and F are land and zoning. Item E is a zone change request, the ones that we have discussed before, to move a property from SF20 to GC. In the 45th and Ridge area. We feel like there will be several people there to discuss that with us. Item F is an island annexation request by the city of Wichita that I think you've been briefed on before.
Right.
Item G is the actual adoption of our platform, legislative platform, state platform. Tanya sent you yesterday the way it exists today. And also she sent you a template of what the joint platform will look like after the first of the year. The city is waiting to adopt their platform until their new council takes seat. So it'll be first week of this January before the joint platform comes out. I also sent you an email yesterday just on some changes. While we were at a conference yesterday, the chairman and vice chair and I had a chance to talk with the speaker, and I sent you a note on possible changes you could consider to implement into our platform. We will staff this briefly on Tuesday, so you'll have a chance to talk out loud about that before it actually comes to the agenda, and we could discuss it again at that time.
Right. Thank you. And thank you, Commissioner Howe, for joining. It was, you recall in the past, there's been a meeting that REAP had set. And they're not doing that this year, where everybody did a parade of agendas on various government agencies. And so that is not, they're going to still sponsor a reception like January 4th. South Central is going to get together and have their own annual kickoff. And then there's REAP, and we'll all be invited to reception, and we can have our stuff there at that time. But what Tom said, the city was with their change of their leadership and their council, they're pausing before they adopt theirs. And it was a chance for Commissioner Howell and I to have a pretty good discussion to see what may have some flavor and maybe some things to avoid, so we can share that at our meeting. You got anything to share on that?
I'll just say this, that the speaker is pretty sharp on what they can get done and what we need to be speaking up to. And some of our concerns, I think he was able just to assure us that this is not a concern because it's already taken care of. So in terms of having to speak to the issue, don't put a lot of words on paper on that, because it's really not a problem. And other things, frankly, it's not going to go anywhere. So let's just clean this up a little bit. So I think his comments were really well.
Yeah.
It was really valuable time. Didn't have a lot of time with him, but it was a very good time.
And as I put in the note to you, a lot of times he referred us to certain legislators who had that expertise. So he's given us direction on how to advocate for what's in our agenda. So.
Okay, thank you. Next,
Okay, then item H, this is a boomerang issue. This is Joe Thomas will be presenting under H and I. H is the bid board item from November 8 regarding our federal lobbyist. So we're going to staff this on Tuesday also, but we'll need commission to give us a final decision on what we want to do with federal lobbyist. So that's that item. And then I is Joe's Board of Bid and Contracts usual.
okay. And I don't know if Joe's ready or not. I don't see him here, but I had mentioned before that maybe since it's the last meeting, maybe he'd just give us a summary of how many bids and have happened, kind of state of the year.
Yes.
Not necessarily all the amounts or anything, but just the number, just any highlights that he may be able to share with us.
Chairman
We'll come to
Meister,
that under item I when he's done.
Right. So, okay.
Chairman Meister, I'm on the line. I
Oh, you
will.
are?
Yes, sir. How are you this morning?
Fine. Hi, Joe.
I will have that information for you on Tuesday, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it for new business. On consent, I want Lynn to talk about J and K there. It's the same project, two different services. Just briefly cover what we're trying to accomplish there.
So you'll note both of them reference the same project in Valley Center on Meridian Street. The first one, item J, is the actual agreement with Valley Center. They have asked us to do the construction inspection for this project that they are working on, and we are financially contributing to that portion that is within the unincorporated county. Item K is our agreement with professional engineering consultants to help us with that, those services. It's a rather large project that gets into some areas that we don't have expertise. So we are subbing out some of that to professional engineering consultants to help us with the inspection services.
Okay. Any questions on that, Commissioner Beatty? You all right? That all right?
We're good.
Okay.
Questions, I'll follow up with Lynn.
Okay.
Items L and M are both ComCare grants. I thought Tim would just give a very quick overview.
Item L is our PATH grant, and that we've received that for over 25 years now. It funds two of the outreach case managers that work with the homeless population, and then a support staff that helps with the reporting on that. And then item M is a renewal of we were invited to or asked to develop a program around first-time psychosis, and we've done that for about a year. It's been successful, and KDADS wants to continue that funding for us. So it's a good program.
Okay.
Item N is a JAG grant body worn camera certification piece. And I think that's for corrections. Rusty's not here, but I think that's for the corrections department. Item O, Lindsay, I don't know if you want to talk to this, the resolution affirming the county investment policy.
It's pretty pro forma. You all adopt this every year. David Floyd is here in the audience if you have specific questions, but basically it's just specifically stating what we will invest in and what the terms are. As you know, as a government, we're fairly restricted in what we can do. And so this just aligns with best practice and our current practice, although we are looking to bring back maybe a more robust policy at the end of the first quarter along with CIP and debt. But this just gets us through what the state requires us to have each year.
Okay. Any questions? Okay.
P, Q, and R are all policy items. Item P is a modification and update of the work comp policy, work compensation program policy. Item Q is a new policy that Mike Elpers briefed you about a few weeks ago regarding AI that we discussed in staff. This is a brand new policy regarding, I'm sure the first of many that we will be talking about AI and its role in our county government. And R is a series of policies that Sheena and her staff have updated. Bring your attention to one of them, which is wage and salary. This is related to an email I sent you a couple of weeks ago regarding our first look at changing our shift differential from 75 cents to $1. That is within that wage and salary policy change. I've also promised you that we will have a deeper dive in the budget discussion regarding shift differential pay. The county has a very different kind of way of looking at shift differential. We know we need to increase that to stay competitive with other 24/7 operations. But there's some administrative work we need to do on the back end before we can bring you a package, a fiscal note package to talk about that. And that needs to be within the budget process. So I just bring the rest of this is all modifications and update, but I wanted to bring your attention to the wage and salary policy.
Okay.
Just a question on that.
Yeah.
So the amount of the shift differential is set by policy.
Yeah.
We have to change the policy to change that amount.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's news to me. Thank you.
And then item S, and I'll defer to Lindsay again. I think this is end of year types of authority for Lindsay to transfer some highway funds to special highway improvement and or special road funds that I think we do this every year.
Every year. And if we were going to do anything, we would certainly let you know. Most year-end transfers come to you in mid-January, and we're allowed to post date those to 2023. But under state law, this particular action, as well as one that we'll talk about under fire, must actually be complete by 12/31. And we like to wait in finance until 12/31 so that we know precisely how much budget authority remains after payroll posts and other things. So if there was going to be a special project or something that hadn't been funded through the decision package, this would be the type of thing that we would do. But at this time, we don't have any that we'll bring to you. But if something comes up between now and the end of the year, this would give us that opportunity. But I would not do that without letting you all know.
And then item T, I'm sorry.
No, just asking any questions.
Item T is some reclassifications. There are 3 under this item. One is the completion of the migration of our aging director to now be over aging and CDDO. And then Mike Elpers has a couple of cleanup reclassifications he's done in his shop to gain efficiencies in how we, Mike, you might want to chime in, how we manage all of the computers that we have in moving cars these days. So
yeah, that's a lot of it. I mean, firewalls, routers, that kind of thing used to be in data centers or in closets. Now they're in squad cars and fire trucks. So they're much more commonplace and dispensed throughout our organization.
that is, and the rest of the agenda is routine. We do have a fire agenda. Under new business, there's a donation that Chief Nelson will talk about. There is a charitable donation under consent, and then all of the other consent items, the items you review under the general agenda as the Board of County Commission, you will revisit as the Board of Fire. Some of the same policies we just talked about under the original agenda will have to also go under fire. So it's, you approve them under general, I assume you'll approve them under fire board. And if not, you won't. And that is it for, and we have executive session for that.
We have one charitable donation under new business and one under consent.
Is Kevin here?
New business.
Deputy Chief Kevin Nelson with the Fire District. So one of them, the consent item is just a donation, a check. And then the other donation of the property is actually a contract that we enter into. So I think that's why it has to be new business as opposed to just a consent item.
A lot of times when we get charitable donations, we want to recognize the people that do that and we put it under new business. Yeah, so thank you.
We can definitely, when we approve consent, I'll call that out for you to do that.
Great, thank you.
Anything else? Okay. Any others elected? I don't see any. Any comments? Just I'll make a comment that today's ugly or fun sweater day. I see our CFO is celebrating Halloween today. And I see that Mr. Mike, former counselor, Mr. Mike Papoon wanted me to recognize that Commissioner Ryan Beatty is wearing his ugly sweater. You want to show it? I don't know why Mike Papoon sent that message to me, but I don't know.
Got a pretty good idea.
Okay. All right. Anything else from anybody? All right. Have a good weekend, everybody.